Hi, I'm Scott Noonan, the CEO of Audio Advice. Today's video is part of our home theater design series of videos that cover everything from speaker layout to acoustic design. In this video, I'm going to review two really cool ways to improve the video experience in a high-performance home theater. The first is adding an anamorphic lens in front of your projector, and the second is installing the madVR NV video processor between your surround sound processor and your projector or television. Both of these devices provide significant benefits for watching movies, but there's often some confusion about what benefits each provides, how to choose between them, and how they'd work together. I'll cover these questions in detail to help you understand what these upgrades would provide in your theater and decide which one or both would best provide the improvements you're seeking. Now, let's dive in. Many people design their home theater to recreate the experience of going to a commercial movie theater, which provides a level of video immersion that simply cannot be obtained with a television, no matter how large it is. Since the vast majority of movies are in a CinemaScope aspect ratio of 2.4 width to 1 height, most people will choose a screen having that widescreen aspect ratio. However, while there are substantial benefits to having a scope screen in your theater, there are some challenges that have to be dealt with. The majority of movies will fit the screen just fine. However, most people will also watch a variety of other content and shows where the aspect ratio could be 16:9 for the usual standard broadcast television, 1.85 to 1 for many movies, and even 2 to 1 for an increasing number of Netflix and other streaming services. The usual solution here is to purchase a projector that has lens memory, where you can save the lens zoomed in and out and set up for each and every aspect ratio you would want to watch. So once you identify the aspect ratio for whatever you're going to watch, you then use the projector's remote control to select the corresponding lens memory. The projector then uses its motors to zoom and shift the image to fit the screen. If you subscribe to our channel, you likely have seen our videos of home theaters we've installed where I've shown this in action. One drawback is that it can take 15 to 20 seconds, and because it relies on physical motors, the precision can drift a little bit over time, requiring further adjustments to be made. Okay, so in addition, when a 2.4 movie is viewed on a 2.4 screen, since the projected output from the projector is typically 16:9, the projected image actually extends above and below the widescreen area onto the screen frame and wall. This part of the image contains the black letterbox bars, so it's not normally seen. Because of this, the movie image itself is actually using only about 75% of the available pixels on the projector's 4K chip. This results in a loss of about 25% of the available lumens or brightness when watching widescreen content such as 2.4. This is where a Panamorph Anamorphic Lens provides a significant benefit to reclaim those previously unused pixels. Here's how it works. A 4K projector chip has a horizontal width of 3,840 pixels and a height of 2,160 pixels. The actual content in a 4K 2.4 movie uses the same 3,840 pixel width, but a height of only 1,600 pixels, leaving the remaining 560 pixel rows completely unused. These are the pixels sending out the black bars on the top and bottom. I'm going to show you how this works in steps so that you understand it, but bear in mind that it all happens instantly. The first step uses one of the projector's anamorphic modes where it digitally rescales the image to now occupy 3,840 pixels by 2,133 pixels, stretching the image vertically to fill that area. The anamorphic lens vertically compresses the image optically, properly restoring the original 2.4 aspect ratio. But the net result is a 25% boost in brightness, which is especially useful when watching 4K HDR content. It increases the nits available on screen, allowing the projector to produce an even more dynamic image with more visual impact. And for complete technical accuracy, for those of you who really get into the details, many 4K chips are actually 4,096 pixels by 2,160 pixels, but the process is unchanged, providing the same boost in brightness. Okay, so when you want to watch content with a 16:9 aspect ratio, you use a different anamorphic mode in the projector, which digitally rescales the image so that it is displayed properly on the scope screen. The projector gives you the ability to select the proper anamorphic mode for either 2.4 or 16:9 content with a simple button push. This change is instant since it doesn't require any change in the projector's lens, zoom, or shift, and is 100% stable over time since it's digital, not depending on motors. So for many years, using a Panamorph Anamorphic Lens was the gold standard for improving video in high-performance widescreen theaters. So now let's shift our focus to the madVR Envy video processor. The madVR Envy Extreme and Pro models have a much more advanced processor than what can be found in projectors, so they can simultaneously fit every image to the screen size and improve the image processing, especially for HDR content. As we discussed earlier, if you want to show different aspect ratios on a widescreen, you generally need to zoom your projector in and out, which can be pretty cumbersome. The madVR knows the size of your screen and can adjust any aspect ratio to fit the screen in real time. This addresses part of what an anamorphic lens does, but with the advantage of not only having two aspect ratio settings for 16:9 and 2.4, but an unlimited number of them. Remember that projectors only have two anamorphic modes, so when using an anamorphic lens, you have to choose one of the two modes for either 16:9 or 2.4 content, using whichever is best for the content you're watching. But when you use the madVR, it can instantly rescale the content to fill your screen's height instantly for all different aspect ratios. In fact, it can even be set up to stretch some content to fill your screen for any aspect ratio content. So in this way, it is superior to a normal setup with just an anamorphic lens and a projector. However, it does not add the extra 25% of brightness back into the widescreen images that an anamorphic lens does. If you have a good enough projector and a bright enough projector with enough nits on your screen, this won't be an issue. However, as you can imagine, the holy grail would be to combine both a madVR Envy, which gives you instantaneous adjustment to all aspect ratios, with a Panamorph Anamorphic Lens, which will give you additional light output in widescreen movies. The other advantage of the madVR Envy in a system is that you don't have to guess the aspect ratio of your content and then select the correct setting on your projector. The madVR Envy automatically detects the aspect ratio and changes by itself in real time. So we find that many people want a madVR Envy who are not even videophiles, but more luxury home theater owners who simply want the experience of using their theater to be automatic. Okay, so another advantage of using a madVR Envy with an anamorphic lens is that the Envy does the digital stretching and scaling of the picture instead of the projector. Because it has way more graphical processing power, it does this more accurately than can be done with the projector. Another benefit the Envy brings is that when an anamorphic lens is in place, there's technically a small amount of barrel distortion where the four sides of the image bulge in an outward direction. To be fair, most people don't even notice this, but it does exist. The high-end Envy Extreme with its geometry correction is able to completely correct this barrel distortion and provides a perfect fit of the image on the screen. This makes the combination of using an anamorphic lens and a madVR Envy Extreme even better than the anamorphic lens by itself. I've made an entire video just on the Envy, but since you're likely interested now in what it does, let me touch on a few other key things. Movies that use a scope aspect ratio often have subtitles that extend partially or completely into the black bar area below the content, and sometimes into the black bar above as well. Since the projector is projecting black bars above and below the screen, the subtitles then spill onto the screen's frame and onto the wall behind the screen. The result is that the subtitles just can't be seen or read in this situation. And if you're also using the Panamorph lens, the subtitles present in the black bar area are actually completely cropped out and can't be seen at all. The madVR Envy comes to the rescue here. In the same way that it automatically detects the incoming aspect ratio, it also detects the presence of subtitles either at the bottom or the top black bar area. It then instantly adjusts the image to allow just enough space for the subtitles to be easily read while still filling the top and sides of the screen. HDR, or high dynamic range, was developed for use on TVs, enabling them to provide a much wider range from the blackest black to the whitest white, producing a more exciting and realistic picture. Modern TVs are able to achieve fairly high brightness measured in nits, often in the 400 to 1000 nit range. Since HDR is typically mastered for 1000 nits and sometimes 4000 or even 10,000 nits, there isn't a lot of processing work to be done to get it to look great on a television. However, projectors are much more limited in brightness, achieving anywhere from 50 to maybe 150 nits in most cases. This lower total brightness level is the primary reason why high-performance theaters have often added anamorphic lenses to improve the brightness of widescreen content. But even with a lens added, it is still a huge challenge to somehow squeeze the 1000 nits or more of light that HDR calls for into the much lower level of nits that are actually available with a projector. This requires what is called tone mapping. Projectors do provide features to attempt this, and some do it better than others. But because projectors have limited processing power, the result is often that HDR content is perceived as too dark overall. Shadow detail is lost, and bright areas of the image lose detail. Because of less than ideal tone mapping, the benefit of having HDR to begin with is reduced considerably. Once again, the madVR Envy provides a great solution. The Envy has an incredible amount of graphical processing power and provides state-of-the-art dynamic tone mapping to enable your projector to provide the best possible picture quality it is capable of producing. It does a far better job than any projector can do on its own. And not being content with dynamic tone mapping alone, the Envy provides other settings to further recover image details in those dark, shadowy areas, as well as recovering the details in extremely bright areas, which would all otherwise be lost. Our team that owns Envies, including myself, have developed a set of settings and adjustments that we implement in our customers' Envies that we think provides an unmatched and dynamic movie watching experience with an extra level of realism and image pop. The bottom line is that the madVR Envy solves most of the video challenges confronted when designing a home theater with high performance video capabilities, particularly when a scope screen is involved. As such, in most cases, we recommend the madVR as the first step if you're upgrading or designing a high-performance theater and can afford it. If you then want to take the experience to an even higher level, you add the Panamorph Anamorphic Lens to provide that extra 25% boost in brightness and pixel density, giving you the combined benefits of both the madVR Envy and the Panamorph. Each of these devices provides substantial benefits on their own, but when they're combined, the whole is greater than the sum of the parts, a match made in heaven. And this really takes your theater to the next level of picture quality and ease of use. If you've got questions on any of this, feel free to drop over to audioadvice.com and you can call or chat and talk to our experts on the phone, or stop by one of our award-winning showrooms. And if you're thinking about building a theater or upgrading your own and you've got questions that are really detailed or just want to make sure you nail it, go to audioadvice.com and you'll see our home theater section there, and it's got all sorts of buyer's guides like this one, plus videos of home theaters we've done, inspiration galleries to show you different looks and feels, plus it has our free 3D home theater design tool that'll make sure you've got the projector in the right place, your throw distance right, all the speakers in the right location. Anyways, we love this stuff and would be more than happy to help you out. If you like this video, be sure to like it, click subscribe to be the first to get new content as it comes out. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.